This is Danielle Kelly from the Wave 94 Weather Center, and while I'm in my studio, also known as Room with No Kids, so you'll hear birds chirping because that's outside, doing my morning forecast for the radio. I thought I'd do a quick video for some of our aspiring meteorologists and some of our listeners who want more in-depth explanation of how we do what we do. And I'm going to kind of go through some ways that you can help yourself learn some of the terminology that we use, and give a special shout out to Mason, who's an aspiring meteorologist. Here is where I suggest always starting. This is the Storm Prediction Center. These are the people in Norman, Oklahoma that monitor the entire country 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for any potential severe weather. They do what we call convective outlooks, and they do them really day 1, 2, and 3, and then they clump day 4 through 8 together for those risks for the long range. Here's day 1. You can see the Arklatex and lower Mississippi Valley regions are under the gun for severe weather today. What I suggest is always reading these discussions, and when you read the discussion on the convective outlook, you may not understand all of the terms. Like, for example, you'll see LLJ right here. Write it down. Make sure you always write stuff down you don't understand so you can look it up. And that means low level jet, of course, but also what you want to do is keep up with their mesoscale discussions. They won't always have them. When they issue one, it's usually because they're getting ready to issue a watch. And when they do that, they will identify the area affected. They'll identify what kind of watch they're thinking about issuing, usually severe thunderstorm or tornado. And then they'll usually say probability of watch issuance. And they'll tell you whether a watch is likely, whether a watch is not likely, or whether a watch is coming. And they'll have a percentage of the chance they're going to issue the watch, like 95%, 40%, what have you. This is actually a different mesoscale discussion. This is a mesoscale discussion about a current watch that's ongoing. Read those discussions too. That kind of shows you all the things that have to come together for a severe weather outbreak. And you'll start getting used to seeing some of these terms together, such as shear, CAPE, stuff that's always together for these kind of things. Also, at the bottom, you'll see Attention Weather Forecast Office, and they'll tag the National Weather Service offices that are in this region. Like I see Shreveport. What I do once a watch is issued is I always go to and I'm actually going to go to the main page as opposed to just Tallahassee's page right now, so I can show you. Here's all the weather forecast offices. Of course, Tallahassee's down here. They have southeast Alabama, southwest, south central Georgia, portions of the Florida Panhandle and Big Bend. And if you click on Tallahassee, then this comes up. Here's their page. You can click on their map anywhere in their forecast area, and they will give you the forecast for that area. If I click on Dothan, for example, and it may take a while to pull up, and okay, actually it didn't. All right, here's Dothan's forecast, and for Houston County. And then what I always do is I click on the forecast discussion. And what the forecast discussion does is Tallahassee telling me short-term and long-term what they think is going to happen. The good thing about the National Weather Service forecast discussions is these terms that you may or may not understand, you can click on, and they will actually pull it up and give you a glossary and tell you what it means. So it's really, really good way to learn these terms and understand, like an MCS, which is a mesoscale convective system, and it explains to you what that is. It's a really good way to learn. Tallahassee is great and to the point with their forecast discussions. If you're looking for even more in-depth, I always read forecast discussions for areas north and west of me also, and to the east, because in Tallahassee we have to deal with stuff coming off the Atlantic sometimes too. Mobile's a great read always. They are very detailed in their forecast discussions. I'm clicking on their county right now, so I can bring that up, and there's the forecast for Mobile. But then I always scroll down to forecast discussion, and then that comes up, and as you can see, Mobile is very, 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 very detailed, and they'll have a whole bunch of terms you can click on that are highlighted in blue that'll give you a glossary of what those terms mean. So learn those terms, and that way you'll start putting 2 and 2 together. And when you see those maps on pivotalweather.com, like a map of available CAPE for a thunderstorm event or something, you'll actually be able to understand and apply it to what you just read in these forecast discussions. It's a great way to learn. Another way is, I was trying to think of meteorologists who actually do in-depth videos where they go through the model runs and explain things. I know James Spann is one that does that. Twice a day he issues during the week what he calls a weather extreme video, and he goes through that video. He goes through the models. He goes through all kinds of terminology because he has a lot of very weather savvy people that watch, and that's understandable, especially with the tornado outbreak we had in 2011. So he's very in depth with it, and that's a good watch. Even though he's mostly talking about North Alabama, it's still a good thing to watch because you gather some of the terms, and he does reference South Alabama too in there, so that's always good. I was trying to think of anything else that would help, and I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. It's just really reading the forecast discussions, learning the terminology, looking up terms you don't understand, and then, the Weather Forecast Office, getting used to their discussions of what's going on, and that actually teaches you a whole lot and helps you understand those maps better. So that's pretty much it from the Wave 94 Weather Center. This is Danielle Kelly. Thanks, everyone.